Hello to all my booty seekers and cheek chasers. This is the Carpe Natem Podcast. I'm your host, Nate De La Hoya-Reynoso, and I am so grateful you are listening to this episode. If you're new here, you should know that I believe that my purpose is to uplift, inspire, and educate others to communicate masterfully so that they can better understand themselves and others. I've spent years in the personal development and transformational technology space, and I want to share with you the wisdom that was passed down to me from giants in the industry. So if you are on a journey of self-mastery, like me, looking to make dreams a reality and willing to be a leader for your family and community, then join me in seizing the butt cheeks of life and giving them a big ol' squeeze. Let's jump into the show. Welcome back to another episode of the Carpe Natem Podcast, y'all. I am so excited because I have my friend here in the studio with me, Adeeb. Thank you for being a guest. For those of you who don't know, this man came from California, just like me, to Austin. He's doing stand-up. He's in tech, bunch of crazy cool stuff. I'm seeing him live his best life on social media, and I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. How are you, buddy?
Good, man. Thank you for that intro. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you welcoming me into your studio. It's good to see you doing some really amazing stuff, as usual, Nate.
Always, man. I try to keep myself busy because I feel like if I'm not working on some sort of project, I'll probably fall into some sort of depression.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think I always have to be moving, you know? I think it comes from both of us kind of being raised the same way.
Yeah, I've noticed something amongst those who are raised by brown mothers in comparison to like those who get raised by white mothers. I'm not saying that it's that different, but I have noticed like a little bit of a different push when it's somebody like you and I actually aren't even the same type of brown. Like my background is Mexican, Afro-Latino, and you are
Mexican as well. Yo soy de Michoacán.
No fucking way.
I'm kidding.
Oh, you liar.
My best friend's from Michoacán.
Oh my God.
I got adopted by his friend.
You said that with such a perfect Spanish.
Yeah, because hablo español.
Really?
Practicar mucho. Yeah, yo soy de California, necesito hablar español.
That is insane.
Estudiar por 5 años en el colegio.
I've known you for so long, I didn't know you spoke Spanish.
No. Yeah. So, I mean, I learned Spanish because, well, they wanted you to learn a language in high school. But being from California, you know, working in the restaurant biz and all the people we talked with and worked with, it made sense to know Spanish.
See, you are thinking at a different level because there's so many people who live in California and who are of Hispanic heritage and don't speak Spanish. That's something I found out with Texans. Like some of the Mexicans I've met out here don't speak a lick of Spanish.
Yeah.
And here you are, not even of Hispanic descent, but you chose to pick up a language that would benefit you not only in social settings, but to say that you speak Spanish at the fluent level that you do is a benefit on a resume.
Yeah.
It makes you more desirable by job hunters.
Yeah. I mean, to be completely honest, I've always been fascinated by the history and culture of other people, mostly because the more travels you do around and the more people you interact with, the more you realize that they have the same values. And Mexican culture in particular was super, super similar to our Desi culture, you know.
So you're Desi.
Yeah.
And that's
my parents are from Bangladesh, but it's like India, right. Bangladesh, Pakistan.
My mentor, the same man who also officiated my wedding, he's from Bangladesh. So
nice.
I know he speaks Bengali.
Bangla, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was Bengali. That's dope. Yeah.
So there's some people that Turk. He also speaks Urdu.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's very interesting. But the reason we even got onto this point is because you and I are a different type of brown. You're Desi.
Yeah.
I'm Mexican, Afro-Latino.
Yeah.
And we had similar stories where like our moms loved the shit out of us, also beat the shit out of us.
Yeah.
And I think that you and I have very similar like energies.
Yeah.
Where definitely. I like take this as a compliment, even if however it comes out of my mouth, but you have one of the highest self-esteems I've ever seen on a person. It's almost a level of arrogance that is like crazy, but it's not. It's like you truly believe that you're the shit, and I feel like that was instilled into you by your mom. Yeah, and I have a little bit of that. Am I?
No, you're reading me like a book, man. 1,000%. You know, I just watched Kanye's documentary, and I felt the same way. I don't know if you've seen it, and there's no spoilers in it, but the way his mother like attributed to his life and talked him up and like, you know, really believed in him, made him believe in himself. And the same thing with me. Like, yeah, you're right, dude. My mom is my number one fan, but she's also my number one critique. And
For sure,
she'll
dude.
go out of her way. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom's favorite phrase is, "You're going to therapy anyway. I'm just giving you something to talk about." Right?
Damn right.
And the worst things that I've ever been told by another person have never compared to how my mom has struck me, because she strikes low, right?
Oh yeah, she hits you right in the heart, for
right?
sure, and guts it out.
She knows how to go through all your defenses, all your insecurities. She wiped your ass, bro. There's nothing, and there's no rebuttal.
Nope.
Because
she gave you life, you know, and she's like, I can take it away. You're like, okay.
I am noticing a trend of people who have really good relationships with their mothers, like, crush in life. I've noticed that a lot of people who are very close with their moms and be mama's boys, although it was perceived as something negative, I've noticed that if you have a better relationship with your mom, or at least a really solid one, where you don't have to be saying I love you to each other, but you have some establishment that there's a mutual respect and you actually admire and love your mom, you're a better person in a relationship. You're better as like as a communicator. And I'm picking up people who've always had like inspirational moms, like Gary Vaynerchuk. He constantly credits his mom for his self-esteem, and she implemented that self-worth into him. And it seems like your mom did a really good job of doing that too.
I think honestly, man, you're a product of the environment around you, including the people you bring around you. And like you said, you have great friends, and this energy that you're putting out, it's grown, you know, like everyone's born, I think, innocent, and everyone's born one way. And we're taught to either love more or hate more. And I think the more you're around a loving like community, and it's not just having a great mom, because I know people that have great moms and their kids are shit.
Do you think it's more nature than nurture? Like your environment dictates. Like you could have been born a loving, kind individual with tons of empathy, but because of your environment, it's twisted your perceptions. It's made you communicate with the world in a negative way.
1000%, man. Because I mean, going to like third world countries, the biggest story I tell people all the time is being here. And you know, you've seen how we live here, coming from California to Texas. You know, everything's bigger in Texas. But even here, I have to constantly remind myself and humble myself and remember like where our parents came from, the struggle that they did. And that's probably the reason why I appreciate the compliment that I look like I have all this self-esteem. But I think you're the same way, where we don't have it with ourselves. It's a constant up or down battle. You know, I know I'm the shit, but I wake up thinking I'm not the shit. You know?
Yeah, I struggle with that too, where like I am my biggest fan and also my biggest enemy. And over the years, I've gotten better at being my own personal cheerleader, but the voices and the thoughts always,
of course, they come
back. They come in waves. And with like, you know, proper treatments, if you get your shit together, if you seek help, if you have an awesome support system, you can fight off them and have less bad days. Yeah. And I guess because the bad days never go away.
No, the bad days are all the time.
But something that, to your point, and something that you reminded me of, when I was 16, my dad took me to El Salvador.
Yes.
And where my stepmom lived was in the middle of a jungle, like a literal jungle. They had no paved roads. It rained one day, and the main road turned into a river, which then took two people, like a grandpa and their grandchild, got swept by the river, right?
Wow.
And that's just an everyday thing for them.
It's just normal.
These people are waking up at 5 a.m. The kids are waking up at 5 a.m. and then going to school because they wake up at 5 to go pick coffee. Yeah. So that their parents could sell them.
Wow.
And the parents go and work at like at the local plantations to pick up local stuff, and they get to like peel these vegetables that kind of have beans on them. And they're able to keep the beans for all the ones that they peel, and then they go home and they cook the beans and they sell the beans for quarters, dude.
Wow.
So
literally scraping by.
Experience that for over 2 weeks when you're 16, right? Yeah. And then coming back to America where people are crying and having meltdowns and cutting themselves because they didn't get the latest iPhone.
Yeah. That's huge, man. Yeah.
What do you do? How do you once that perception opens up, once you see the coding of the Matrix and you break out of your box, doesn't it feel overwhelming?
Oh, yeah. 1000%.
What was your experience?
For me, like, a similar thing. I went home to Bangladesh plenty of times, but for me, I think the moment that I felt the same thing was same age, right? 17. I went to Bangladesh one last time, and then I just went back 2 years ago. But I saw this kid in a farmland just playing with dirt. And he was fine. You know, he was happy with his life. He was just playing with like sand and dirt and just
having the
time of life, you know. And I looked at him and I looked at his father, and I looked at the small village we were at. Like they would maybe get, you know, 3rd grade or 4th grade education, and then he just goes to work on a farm, and that's his life, you know. And his dad was so happy to show me his new, like, not even iPhone, like new Nokia, like, brick, you know. This is just a couple years ago,
dude.
And I'm just sitting here like, same thing, dude. Like, I'm
so
upset that I don't have the AirPod Pros, you know. Like, what like,
right.
You know, you kind of forget that the more simple it is, the easier it seems, and I want to keep my life like that. And, you know, it's hard to take those lessons back in, and it's always great to talk about them because it reminds you, right? Like, okay, like, I have this great apartment, I have this great life, like, I should be grateful for what I have.
Yeah, I haven't thought about El Salvador in years, but every time I think about it, it's a sense of perspective where I'm reminded, like, I'm upset right now because of something materialistic.
Sure.
And the image that you painted of the little boy playing with dirt, like, that breaks my heart. But he's truly experiencing happiness at the most raw, fundamental level with no, and it is almost like rage-inducing to then see American children or grown-ass adults who, when their Wi-Fi isn't fast enough, go through fits of rage. Yeah,
meltdowns completely, Rage quitting, right?
Rage quitting. I've never punched a hole in a fucking wall before.
I never have to.
Never. That was just...
But I've seen people do it.
Yeah. That was not the brown culture, because I thought to myself, like, if I break that, my mom's going to beat my fucking ass.
Yeah, or I have to fix it.
Or I have to pay for it. Like, it comes out of my little savings. I didn't have an income.
Yeah, exactly.
So whatever money that I had, all my birthday, Christmas money, it's going to come out of that.
Yeah. And that upbringing kind of, like, instills... I mean, it's strict, you know, and it's not... I didn't have
how strict. Let's talk about how strict.
I mean, shit, man. If I got B's, I got beat up. You know,
really?
B for beat. Yeah. I mean, it happens. You know, coming from the Bay Area, and I get it. I wasn't getting like. It came a certain age where like they didn't beat me anymore, mostly because they're older. And my dad, one time, my dad's hand was like, he was like, all right, I'm good. I'm not going to do this anymore. But it was the emotional beating. You know, it's like the guilt tripping. I still get it to this day, and I'm 30 this year. You know.
Yeah, I feel like my mom was way more patient with my siblings than was with me. Like,
we're first. Are you the firstborn? Firstborn. Yeah. You get all the trial. You know, they're like, okay, this didn't work with him. You know.
Let's not be so calm. The crazy part, because like my dad was so strict. Like, first off, my mom was so strict and so scared of me, something happening to me, because something
wrong place, wrong time.
Something happened to her when she was really young.
Got it.
That traumatized her. So I didn't even have my first sleepover until I was like almost 18.
Yo, same actually. Yeah.
And when I went to that sleepover with my friend, who was also like 19, 20. She was like, well, what if the mom is a child molester? And I'm like, well, mom, by definition, I'm not a child anymore. I'm 18, right? Like, you shouldn't be tripping.
Yeah. My mom, to this day, I was just at a wedding, and I told her, hey, I'm going to stay at this after party. I'm going to stay at the Airbnb. And my mom was like, are you sure about that? And I was like, Mom, I'm 29.
Right. Like, of course I'm sure about that.
I'll be okay.
I'm about to go slam some puss, bro.
Like, no, I'm literally, it was just, I was just too tired. I wasn't even hammered or anything. I just didn't want to drive tired. And she was like, it's 2 a.m. You can come home. I'm like, no, Mom, like, I'm 29. Like,
I'm living my best life. Mom.
Like,
let me swing.
Let me sleep.
The craziest part was like my dad was so fun.
Yeah.
With everybody. That he was cool with. Dude. Around people, he was like Mr. Funny, Mr. Ha, Mr. Jokester, big laughs, and a lot of personality that I see in myself and other people see. So I love that attribute of him.
Sure.
With me, he was so strict.
It's just like it's like Two-Face.
No drug references, no nothing. Like, you can't do anything. You can't mention it. Why are you talking that stupid shit? Why are you thinking like that? Were you gonna grow up to be a fucking idiot?
Where'd you learn from this? And you're like, you.
And then and he was super strict because like one, he always had a fear of his dad who beat the shit out of him, right? And he would, almost as a compliment to himself, when he would hit me, he's just like, you're lucky I didn't fuck you up like your grandpa used to do to me. And I was like, how is that helping?
I got the same thing, man. It's generational. It's
but the older he got, the softer he got, right? Like now,
the more he opens up.
I love my dad. I've always loved my dad, but now I actually have a relationship with my dad while growing up. I really never felt like he was more the authoritarian figure who would fuck up my weekend because my mom would say yes and my dad would say no, and she doesn't want to fight with my dad, so I have to stay in.
You know, it's funny. It was flipped in our house. My mom, we were definitely like the matriarchy was strong.
Single mom. Like.
Oh, you had a single mom.
Kind of. Like, I saw both my parents on a regular basis, but I lived with my mom, and it was very like.
So your mom would be like, "Go ahead," but your dad would be like, "Nah."
Yeah, and she was married to somebody at the time, but he had zero authority over me, so it didn't matter what he said. So I never asked him ever because I didn't have to. Like it was, ask your mom. Like there's no one above her in that household, and then in my dad's household, nothing above him. Got it, yeah. So she would use my dad as a scapegoat, or like, well, if he said no, then he said no. I can't change your dad's opinion. It's just an excuse. And in your house, it was flipped.
My relationship with my dad was always, I felt like transactional, like business.
Interesting.
You know, at first, as I got older, the more I realized that my father is not like most brown dads. He let me join a fraternity, you know, like they let me move out. Of course they're upset the whole fucking time, but they could have thrown a bigger fit.
But they're only upset because they love you.
Exactly. And like,
because if they didn't love you, they would just let you go and be like, finally.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But every time I've gone out of the nest, my mom has like shed a tear and had feelings. I moved across the country for a job opportunity,
same here.
Which led to my now career as like a training specialist.
Yeah.
And if not for that, I wouldn't be where I am. But that whole year, she was just distraught and devastated. Yeah. And what's really messed up was there was a man who helped her, somebody who like really coached her through that year as a friend.
Got it.
And then he ended up dying. Like a year later, like after my mom had finally come to it in acceptance, and like I had gone through that thing and all that stuff, she has to deal with and then he ended up passing, and you know,
I'm sorry, man, that's rough.
It is rough, and I wish I could have thanked the dude for really helping out my mom, because like I appreciate that she was, as much as she supported me doing the things that I was doing, and they were difficult, and I fell on my ass.
Yeah.
To even let me do that, it impacted her in a different way. But she now treats her current kids different than me, because I was the gerbil. I was the gerbil baby.
You're the guinea pig.
I was the favorite because I was the only one. Then my mom had a daughter. That title got removed, and now she's the favorite of the family. Yeah. And she blatantly says it. She's like, she gets everything. Natalia gets everything. Yeah. If you need the money, ask her. And I'm like, Mom, I was with you for multiple years before. 2 decades.
That's hilarious. I think, for one, I think it's rough that your mom had to go through that. But I think we had similar stories to bring us here, right? Like
for better opportunity.
Like, I mean, I didn't want to leave California. No one does. Weather is beautiful. But
I did.
Now that I left, I can't go back, man. Every single time I go back, a little piece of me is left there. Like, I come back and it's like, I just like it less and less.
This is a complete fault of my own, but like I spent so much time in the Bay Area. I lived my whole life there.
Same.
Sunsets to me really don't impress me as much as like the person that lives in Arkansas, right? So like of course I go back to California and I'm like, wow, this is actually very aesthetic.
The weather's nice,
right?
You know?
The weather's nice. The mountains are nice. The hills, the views, the beaches.
Sure.
It's cool, right? But then you just can't survive.
No, you talk to someone and it just completely changes.
And all their mindsets are just like struggle, government owes me something. Like and then those who are trying to get out of that mindset, the more entrepreneurial, maybe even the more conservative, they tend to be like isolated out. They're not able to grow as much as they can. Yeah. Like in Washington, D.C., and Virginia and Maryland, people are constantly traveling to like do business meetings and shake hands and network and collab.
Yeah.
In San Francisco, people are like, I got 3 jobs. I don't have time for that.
No. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, is 3 jobs to pay for your house? No, for an apartment.
To rent.
Yeah.
With a roommate.
With no privacy.
I had 4 jobs at one point. I know. It's just like that hustle culture is huge in our upbringing.
Absolutely.
You know? And I think that it's awesome to see people chase their passions, but they don't have like everything is just one speed. It's at 11. You know, you're sprinting the whole mile, and then you come here, and it's not that it's slower or anything. It's just
better.
It's a little bit better. You know, you you trade the good weather for, tornadoes and freak thunderstorms.
Whereas I would be drowning in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah,
Here
sure.
I'm swimming.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
And I love
yeah.
swimming.
Yeah,
right.
I can't swim, but yeah.
You can't swim? Okay. But the idea
But no, I agree with you. Like
in California, I'd be drowning.
You're just you're up to your neck in bills. You can't even talk to anyone about.
And then no one wants to live in Modesto. No one in Modesto has hopes and dreams.
No one wants to buy a house at Lathrop or Manteca.
Yeah, or be in like Visalia.
Yeah.
That whole area of Bakersfield.
Yeah.
Like we're
shout out to my sales territory, which is Fresno, Bakersfield.
Is it really? Shout out to them.
It sucks,
dude. That whole city. I've been through it, y'all. Y'all have some like 2 venues and a donut shop, and then after that, it's nothing. Your highlight is just
literally nothing. You ever drive down the 5 from the Bay to LA?
Yeah, constantly.
That go back whole drive is my territory for the longest time. Now I have the Bay Area. So
you do sales, right?
I do sales. Yeah.
And you are experienced in the tech world.
Tech sales, yeah. Cybersecurity.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any tips that you can give us for people who have their normal fears of cyber attacks and personal privacy information?
No, yeah, that's a great topic, especially right now. I think first thing, everyone update your password ASAP. I think like more people need to be a little bit more cautious of cyber security awareness. Change your passwords, get a password changer thing like 1Password, 1Login.
For those of you who like apps that you can have on your phone and on your laptop, LastPass is
perfect. Yep,
is a great is a great app that you can use. There's a paid version, there's a free version, and you can store all of your passwords there. And then for password protection, I was taught this too. It's good to have capitalizations, under capitalizations, special symbols, and a number.
Yep,
right.
Change it all up. Yeah,
right.
Be varied.
Could be capital A, lowercase b, c, 1, 2, 3, the @ symbol,
yeah.
right? That's an example password that now somebody's going to change it to.
Try to use it for yourself.
But see how simple that is to make something, and you can make words, and you can make like different things that are tailored to you, but be smart about it.
Yeah, exactly.
First thing is change your password.
Change your password. Take some time this weekend to clean out your laptop, your phone. Take once a month or two. Maybe just take those memes you don't use.
When you say clean up, what do you mean by that?
Just delete it. Like it's easy to have
cache and cookies?
Cache it up, clean the cache.
Clean the cookies.
Clean the cookies. You get what I'm saying.
Browser history.
Yeah, browser history too. Like it's nice to just keep everything refreshed every couple months.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as constant as you need to be, but as far as making sure that you're not getting scammed, making sure you're not clicking on the wrong things. Don't click a link you don't know, right? Get a VPN.
VPN is smart. Some Chrome extensions I recommend is Web of Trust.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Of course, everyone should already have an ad blocker on theirs.
Yep.
I don't care if websites want me to be like, oh, we make revenue off of.
No, get an ad blocker on there too.
You are just spamming me. Like this is, I need a recipe for a key lime pie, and I've read 7 articles, and I still haven't gotten a recipe. I don't even know a single ingredient.
Just clicking stuff constantly. Yeah, man, and let's just be smart, right? Like I think a lot of people now that we're on the internet, everyone's on there daily. Multiple times a day. I feel like more people live their life online than they do in person.
For sure, dude. It's just another step
unplug.
into the
That's the easiest thing is unplug. And I think the biggest thing for me, at least recently, we both experienced this, like getting rid of social media. Like it was a huge alleviation for me because now I can spend my time listening to podcasts like this, like actually researching my time and spending it on real things. And as much as I miss looking at 1,000 people's stories, like I did not gain anything from that, Yeah,
I've been on a 2-month detox off of Instagram because I genuinely felt like it was disabling me more than it was enabling me.
Yeah.
Where whenever I was on it, it just kind of led to things like masturbation or kind of like endless scrolling or maybe somebody's going to listen to this and be like, masturbation. And I'm like, dude, the algorithm knows what you want to see. And if you're being stupid and you're just like zoned out, it's going to send you pictures of like butts and girls. And
I'd look for those pictures.
And then it's and then you're not the only one. So does my dad. He sends me pictures and fucks up my algorithm.
Yeah.
Right?
Your friends are sending you like, hey, check out this ass.
Yeah, check out this. And I'm just like, yeah, good. It's that's a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, you're like, damn, that's a great ass.
Right, all of a sudden, now my entire For You page is just that.
Yep, it's just boots.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then it's just a lateral move from there to like the hub or something else, right?
XNXX, whatever.
I've noticed I've noticed that like I am now more productive without Instagram, and then I now have a business page for this podcast specifically. All I do is follow the people who've been a guest on this podcast, and then like New York Times, Bloomberg, just the random ones, Grant Cardone.
You
Tony
filtered
Robbins.
it so it's not like the fluff.
It's nothing. It's nothing personalized, because then when it's on mine, it's just I tend to like not get in trouble. I don't want to say I get in trouble with it, but I definitely feel like I slack off. Compared to something like TikTok, where I'm actually putting effort into my creativity and putting something out there. Twitter is a dumpster fire. It serves its purpose, but I don't really mess with it.
No, I agree with you.
And I love this medium here, the podcast medium.
Yeah. It's a huge space, man. It's dope. And I think that...
Do you feel better now that you've spent time away from Instagram and off of social media?
1,000%. I'm sleeping better.
Are you really?
You know, it's just kind of funny. I'm way more productive during the day. I mean, so the only caveat I kept was Reddit, which is just memes and like news,
and you need to know, I feel like I trust sources from Reddit more than I do...
Well, with Reddit, it's like, it's not personal. For some reason, man, I was just getting really, really tired of knowing too many other people's lives. Like, I was well invested in my friend's fiance's, like, key lime pie recipe or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you go down these rabbit holes, and then I am too susceptible to, like, mob anger and just be like, here's this insane, crazy thing that happened, and this is what somebody said about this person. And then I see...
The news is all negative.
Oh my God. Yeah. And then the news will actually be like, Kim Kardashian did this, or like, check out Pete Davidson's da-da-da. And I'm like, this is a news site. Why are you showing me this?
Yeah,
like, I did not sign up to TMZ. I want to see like the New York Times. I want to see Bloomberg. I want to see Business Insider and stuff like that. But,
I want to know what's going on around the world, you know?
Right? Like, it's like the BBC shows you, but it's just such a weird time right now. So I logged off of Instagram.
Which is good. Yeah, I noticed you logged off too.
It's so much better. All I was doing was contributing memes. But then
I missed that.
And a lot of people do, but interesting enough, it's funny who actually thinks about you and who reaches out. Because once I jumped off of social media, I actually had people reach out to me and be like, hey man, how
are you doing?
How are you?
Yes.
Why are you doing this? Are you okay?
Yeah.
And I said,
those are your real friends.
Those are real friends.
And I've had a bunch of people text me
Shout
like
out
that
to
too.
Jordan the Unicorn. That man is such an empathetic and totally amazing human being.
Yeah.
He reached out to me like a couple days after I went off of social media. He's just like, you doing good?
Yeah.
Why are you doing it? And I'm like, I'm just detoxing. He's just all like, smart move, man. I'm just making sure that you're all right.
Just checking on you.
Exactly. Yep. That simple gesture, out of the hundreds of people that looked at my memes, I would say maybe... at most 7 people asked me why. Or like,
or reached out. Like, are you okay?
Out.
I agree with that. I think I only had like 10 to 20 people. Slowly people are realizing it. For me, it's only been a month. I think like people are going to think it's just a month. I don't know how long I'm going to do it. Definitely longer than a month.
Time to download TikTok.
Yeah. Hey, I might. You know, I just, for me, I just needed to be more introspective. I mean, honestly, dude, like what you're doing with this and what I've seen, and I'm going to just take a second to just gloat on you.
Sweet.
But for the people that are listening, like I met Nate when we were doing, you know, open mic, and the first thing he was talking about was his mother, and which was one of my jokes, and we both kind of bonded over that. But he has such a warm and like inviting personality, and it's invigorating. And for those of us that like followed him on social media, it was awesome to see him run all those miles and like stick with it and be consistent. And it's not easy to meet people like that, and it's not easy to stay friends with people like that. So I just wanted to take a second to tell you that you're a true gem, man. And like that energy that you have, it's what gets the people going. You know, I see your wife, I see the loving family that you've cultivated and culture you've cultivated here, and it's just gonna keep going, man. And I like this chat today kind of makes me want to do more. You know, like just live my life to the fullest, and that's because I have people like you on my side, and it's huge. It's huge. Like the impact you have is more than you think, you know?
Hell yeah, dude. I'm going to clip that and make that my alarm every morning. That was so sweet. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm hard thinking about it too.
I got a couple points to notes I want to check off on what you just said. Thank you for calling me a gem. My mother calls herself a gem.
Oh, nice.
So you giving me that compliment, I'm the first thing I'm gonna do after this is I'm like, I just got called a gem. Genuinely. I didn't even bring it up.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Fucking awesome. So thank you for that. And dude, I appreciate you being my friend. Like I want to find and discover more people like you, like me. And it's very interesting that like our vibes connect in crowded rooms to the point where it's just all like we should fuck with each other.
Yeah.
And we know it instinctually. naturally.
Yeah.
It's not even like this is forced or anything. This is just like this whole conversation has been smooth like butter.
Yeah.
And this is the longest conversation we've ever had.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I feel like I've known you my whole life.
Thank you for that. And I
course,
appreciate
man.
it. And I'm looking forward to you for being a guest in the future again.
Always, man. Yeah.
Thank you for being a guest today.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time.
Adeeb, where can they find you on social media?
I am currently off social media, but you can find me when I do come online. Everything is at Adeeb Doobie, AdeebEeBee. It's like the Eiffel 45 song.
Yeah, I love following you on social media. You're always living your best life. You're always on Lake Travis. You're always having a good time.
I was having a good time.
You have paintings of yourself in your rooms, which is such Kanye level thinking. That's such a different level of being. That's like I love it, dude.
Yeah,
I want to
man.
embody that. And again, thank you for being a guest on this podcast,
man. I appreciate it. I'm going to come and give you a hug.
Absolutely,
with
man.
the mics on.
With the mics on. Hell yeah.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, brother. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Carpe Natem Podcast. If you love this episode, please consider leaving a positive review on Apple Music or iTunes. It takes 30 seconds for you, but for us, it helps spread positivity to more people during these chaotic times. It helps build a community, and it makes me smile from ear to ear. Speaking of community, we have a Facebook group, www.facebook.com/groups/Carpe Natem. Just answer the 3 questions to get access to some extra motivation and inspiration for your timeline. If you would like to support the podcast, screenshot this episode and share it on your story and tag me at Carpe Natem 114. That's going to be my handle across all platforms, including TikTok, if you'd like to give me a follow. If you haven't already, please rate us and subscribe on Spotify or anywhere you enjoy your podcasts. And lastly, you can find all episodes, linked to resources, and opportunities for coaching and mentoring from me at carpenatem114.com. I cannot thank you enough for spending part of your day with me. You are all rock stars taking the necessary steps to be your best self, willing to do whatever it takes, and ready to grab life by the butt cheeks. Until next time, this is Nate Hoya-Reynoso signing off.